Rabbi, what is going on in the Jewish community is a big chila Hashem, especially in Brooklyn and in Lakewood, who don't seem to get it yet and are not complying with federal guidelines and regulations. They think it's all a joke. I have to tell you that yesterday the White House had a conference with Rabbonim and Jewish community leaders. Rabbi was also on the line, taking part of that conference. And the conference were again specifically with Rabbonim and leaders of the Jewish community, not with Christians, not with Muslims, but rather to impress upon the Jewish community the danger and not to violate the regulations. Gewaltige chila Hashem that they notice that in spite of all the educational material and the inyan that we find that every medical expert have told us the shilas of pekuach nefesh that is taking place when you congregate and you don't apply all of the various harchokis that we're supposed to actually deal with. Rabbi recognize that the Yontif of Pesach is coming, and everybody b'chol Twitzis Yisrael is very makbid on all the chumras of Pesach, and rightfully so. Each and every mishpacha basically follows the guidelines, the messiahs that they have or their others. Many chumras different people have regarding Pesach. And by Pesach, the Torah only writes one word: Ushmartem es hamatzos. You should guard the matzos. Does not say Ushmartem ha'oid es hamatzos. Ushmartem es hamatzos. And yet people are so careful to be mekayim the Shmartem es hamatzos. There's no end and there's no degree to how far so many people are machmer. Fine. When it comes to pekuach nefesh, the Torah says v'nishmartem ha'oid l'nafshesechem, which means that any chumras that you apply to the Yontif of Pesach, koshken alachas kama v'kama, we have to apply even more, many more chumras when it comes to the inyan of pekuach nefesh and shmiras haguf, and to be able to Rabbi to make sure that you are healthy. Did it ever occur to you for one moment that we have even a remote suffix of pekuach nefesh? We have mevatel Shabbos. Shabbos is an issa skila. Even a remote. Nobody thinks twice. Hatzolah runs back and forth on Shabbos. Even in the case of a suffix or a sex fake of a pekuach nefesh, we have no problem of being mechal Shabbos. It's not chil Shabbos. We have mechal Shabbos for the sake of pekuach nefesh. Koshke Rabbi is a minion more important than chil Shabbos. If for Sofik Pekuach Nefesh, we're mevatel Rabbi Isai. We're mevatel Shmira Shabbos. So certainly when it comes to a minyan, it's a rampant epidemic, it's life-threatening, and many from people are already on respirators. I've heard of a certain younger man in Williamsburg, Motzei Shabbos, he was still making Mlava Malke. But now Rabbi Isai, he's on a respirator. Realize very much, Sofik Pekuach Nefesh, we even eat on Yom Kippur. And yet, here we find Yidden that are endangering lives, davening with a minyan. I want you to know that the emes of this Gzeira is even, in a certain sense, a much bigger Gzeira than the Gzeira of Haman. You know why? Because as terrible and as difficult the Gzeira of Haman was, lahashmid, laharig, abed eskoil, Haman did not close the shuls. So we're able to daven the cry out to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And in fact, it is the tefillas of Klal Yisrael, the schus of Mordechai Esther, we brought to Yeshua. Recognize what happened over here. Kodesh Baruch Hu brought a tremendous gzeira upon the world and on Klal Yisrael, but he also caused us to close the shuls we shouldn't even been able to daven. How great the tzara is that Kodesh Baruch Hu removes the solution. Takes away the koich of tefillah. The Chofetz Chaim speaks so often, why are we looking for so many different segulas? Why don't we do what Chazal say, which is the only emes segula? The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos, Kol hoine omen yesh me'raba b'chol koichoi, koirin lo gzar dinoi. If a person answers omen yesh me'raba with all of his kavanas, says Tosfos, his koirin lo gzar dinoi, you tear up the gzar din. We're not able to say omen yesh me'raba, we don't have a minyan. Because Baruch Hu closed the shuls. Here we have Sovit Pekuach Nefesh we eat on Yom Kippur, and yet here we see people of our side insist on davening with a minyan. There's no question in my mind that on our side this is a major tactic of the Yetzer Hara to hide behind the frumkeit of davening with a minyan. The tactic of the Yetzer Hara has always been to turn Averis into mitzvahs, to get you to believe that this is a mitzvah. Rabbi said it's an Avera. Who knows better than the Baal Shem Tov himself, who gave us to explain the Gemara in Shabbos, Dafayin Hey, Rav Omar Mishim Tzoveya. Lord said, Lodai Kodesh Baruch Hu said the Gemara is Sukkah. Kodesh Baruch Hu says that he will come to Shech the Yetzer Hara. Why the Yetzer Hara, Rabbi said, deserve an einish? He was created. He's created to be machshel the Jewish people. That is the avoid of the Yetzer Hara. That is his tafkid in life. Said the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh, the Yetzer Hara's avodah was to be machshel Yidden, to make them be over Averis. The problem is with Avera that the Yetzer Hara, Rabbi says, machshel you, is not by telling you to eat chazer, to eat nevela, or to eat chametz on Pesach. What he does is trying to confuse you that the Avera is a mitzvah. That was not his tafkid. His tafkid was not to camouflage an Avera and make you think it's a mitzvah. Why is he chayiv mishum tzoveya? Because he is coloring it. He's coloring it. He's deforming it. He takes an Avera and tries to influence you. To influence in fact that that's a mitzvah. Who can say it better than the Avnei himself regarding Vayovik Yishimo when Yaakov Avinu was wrestling with the Sar Shel Esov. And the Gemara says, Nechum, Daf Tzadik Aleph, Chad Omer, one man Omer says, when Yaakov Avinu saw the Sar Shel Esov, Ka'akum nid maloi. He thought it was a goy. That's one opinion. The Chad Omer, the other man Omer says, Ketalmud Chochom nid maloi. He thought that it's a Talmud Chochom. What are these two opinions about? Says the Avnei, because there are two ways that the Yetzer Hara operates. One way the Yetzer Hara, Rabbi Sai, is Poshet. He influences the person Poshet to do Averis. Do this Avera, do that Avera. Yetzer Hara knows our weaknesses and comes clearly to persuade us to do Averis. That's one way. Another way, Rabbi Sai, is where he comes to tell you that Avera is a mitzvah. When he comes to tell you Poshet to be over an Avera, he comes to persuade you, he comes to tempt you, that's called Ka'akum nid maloi. He comes like a goy. He's asking you to do an Avera. That's one way. But when he comes, Rabbi Sai, he comes to trick you, and he comes to discolor, try to confuse you that an Avera is a mitzvah, that's the Pshat Ketalmud Chochom nid maloi. He puts on a beggar like a Talmud Chochom, and tries to tell you that this Avera is a mitzvah. That's what it means, Ketalmud Chochom nid kaloi. And therefore you get caught up in the web and the trap of the Yetzer Hara. Rabbi said, this is a Maaseh Yetzer Hara to let you think that now it's a mitzvah to daven with a minyan and congregate and come together with people. All medical experts cannot overstate the fact enough the danger, either to yourself or even worse, spreading it to others. Let me be clear, that if you go to shul, you're at least a Sofik Ritzeach and have a din as a Roidif. Rabbi Goyin Ramoshe Big Zerchoin of Roch used to say, the Yetzer Hara sometimes, Adrab is pushing you to do mitzvahs, even something that's a toffel. Yetzer Hara many times wants to make from a toffel as an ikr. You think it's so important. Why? What's the interest of the Yetzer Hara? To make you do a toffel, consider it like an ikr, because later on he's going to take an ikr and make you think it's only a toffel. It's our sincere hope, Rabbi Sai, the schus of our Torah and Tefillah, and working towards being Mesaken our Maisim, because Baruch Bez Hashem will send refuahs and Yeshuas to all of Klal Yisrael, and to Eretz Yisrael, and to all the world forevermore.